Welcome to this short tutorial on how to create clipping masks. I have opened up the provided file and I'm also going to go here at the top File Image, and I'm going to just show you the size of the image if you don't have the same source file. So the width of this canvas is 2481 by 3509 pixels, and the resolution is 300 pixels per inch. Then I'm going to open up the text. I'm going to just import some text. You can open this text in any text editor like Notepad, or if you have Word, you can open it in Word. And then you just highlight the text. So I click Control A to highlight the text. And then I'm going to copy the text by clicking Control C. And then I return to Photoshop, and here on the left hand side where all the tools are, I'm going to choose the type tool, and I'm going to drag a text box with the mouse, and then I can paste the text onto it by going Control V, and there I have the provided text. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the text again to select all the text, Control A, and then here at the top at this responsive bar, I'm going to choose Times New Roman. Since I know what I want, I'm just going to highlight it and type it in, and let's choose Times New Roman Regular. And I want the majority of the text, so the body copy I want it at 11 point. So I'm going to type it in like so, and I believe that is what I want this text to look like. Yes. Then I'm going to highlight the text at the top. Let me zoom in. I'm using the zoom tool to zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm going to do. I'm using the type tool to highlight the headline text, which says Times New Roman. And in this case, I want to alter the appearance of this typeface. So I want it to be in bold italic, and I want this point size to be 20. I want it to be larger, and I also want to underline it. So here, from this responsive bar options at the top, I can't underline it. I would have to open up a character panel. My character panel is already open here on the right hand side. If you don't have it here, you can also go Window, Character, and you'll find it in that way. And then you'll see from the options here at the bottom, these two rows, the second to the right at the top, it says underline, and I'm just going to click that option, and then it's going to underline this headline for me. And that looks good. I'm just using the type tool again to select the text box, and I'm just dragging the edges of this text box closer to the work, because that way it's just going to be easier to work with it. And I'm just positioning it a little bit. That looks good. Then you're going to get the text from the second file. So again, I'm just here in a text editor, and I'm going to click Control and A on my keyboard to select the text. Then I'm going to copy it by clicking Control and C on the keyboard, and then I navigate back to Photoshop. I'm again using the type tool. I'm going to drag a text box, and then I can paste the text. So I click Control plus V on the keyboard, and it will bring that copied text from the clipboard and paste it into this text box. Now I again want to change the appearance of this text, so I'm going to highlight it again by just clicking into any place of that body copy, and then I click again Control A to highlight all the text. And then I'm going to use the responsive bar here at the top, and I'm just going to type in Times New Roman regular, and I want it set at 11 points. And I'm going to use auto leading. And then all I'm going to do is the last line of text, which is the name of the author. I'm going to set that as bold. And then I'm again going to just, I'm just going to make this text box a little bit closer to the shape of what I want. All right, that looks good. And then I'm just aligning the two boxes, text boxes with one another. All right, that looks good. Then what I'm going to do is now I'm going to type a large point size A here. So I'm just going to use the type tool, and you can click a text box, but because it's a single letter form, I'm just going to click onto the blank canvas and type in a single A. And then I'm going to highlight it by clicking Control A. And then here at the top, at the responsive bar, I'm going to change it to Times New Roman, and I think let's make it bold. Times New Roman bold, yes. And then I want it to be as large as it can be. So I'm just making it 500 point size, just so that I can see on the canvas what it looks like. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the free transform tool to just drag this A as large as it can go. The free transform tool, the keyboard shortcut for that is Control T. And then you just drag until it's nice and big. I'm just zooming out a little bit so I can see the bounding box. And I think that looks good. Once you're pleased with your size, you press enter. And then I'm going to move this A to the right-hand side, and I'm going to position it until I am pleased with the layout of that look. All right, now we are ready to begin creating a clipping group. Now we're ready to fill this A with a beautiful pattern. I'm going to use this letter form, this shape of the A, as the clipping mask shape. So let's go and get our pattern. I'm going to go File, Place Linked, and then I'm going to navigate until I find the pattern that I'm going to use. I'm going to use this floral leaf pattern. And the file is then placed already automatically onto the document as a separate layer. But you can see it doesn't fill or cover the whole A completely. So I'm just going to drag it from the one corner until it fills that A beautifully, and then I press enter, and there we have the floral leaf pattern. Now I want to create a clipping mask. So this is very easy to do. You just have to ensure that the pattern layer, or the layer that is going to be filled, and the shape that you're going to use, so the mask itself is below that pattern. Then you navigate here to layer in this top bar and you say create clipping mask. And there it has created a clipping mask for you. You can see here in your layers panel, there is a little arrow that functions as a drop down. I'm going to show you another method how you can create a clipping mask. So let's go and grab a second image. I'm going to go File, Place Linked, and I'm going to navigate to a file I called Stars. And you can see, again, I can resize them if I want to, but I'm just going to place them roughly where I like them, and I'm going to say that looks good. All right, and then here in the Layers panel, you must just kind of with your mouse hover between the layers, and whilst you're holding the Alt key, and then you'll see the icon starts to change with a drop down arrow with a square next to it, and if you click on it, it's going to create a clipping mask of that as well. And as a last finishing touch, let's add just here on the type layer, that A, so the original clipping mask, I'm going to add an inner shadow to create a sense of depth. So I'm just going to choose under layer styles, inner shadow, and I'm going to use its default look, blend mode overlay, the contour as such, and I'm just going to see maybe the opacity. Let's increase the opacity a little bit, and the distance as 80. Let's make it 80. 80 looks good. Just creates a sense of depth. I think that looks lovely. All right, and now our file is complete, our work is complete, and we are ready to save the work. So once you're pleased with what you've done, it is a good idea to create a copy of the work that you have made with the original layers in case you want to come back and alter and change your work at a later stage. So we're first going to say File, Save a Copy, and we're just going to say that's fine, I want a copy of that file. And once you have a copy, then what you can do is you can decrease the document size by going to the Layers panel, and you say Flatten Image. From the More Options panel, you say Flatten Image, and it's going to compress all the layers into a single file that is going to decrease the document size tremendously. And then what you will do, you're going to go File, and you will say Save As, and you just make sure that here under Save As Type, you choose a PDF. There we have the Photoshop PDF, and I can give it a proper name. And then I press enter. And that's all you need to do to create a PDF copy of your work. Thanks so much for watching. Bye.